We're next for the Swiss franc. Hi, it's Charlie giving you your midweek video. And I thought I'd take a look at the franc today. So I've got the dollar against the Swiss franc up to start off with. So as you can see, since the beginning of this year, it's had a pretty good run overall on the daily time frame. But what we're trying to ascertain here or look at is the potentials going forwards. So of course, we're measuring the Swiss franc here against the US dollar, but what we really need to do is see, well, how is the Swiss franc doing against some of the other currencies as well? So first of all, let's have a look out to the monthly chart here of the Swiss franc against the dollar. Reflecting what's gone on this year, since the beginning of the year, you can see we've had this pretty big run back up into this prior whole price action zone here, whereby it's come up into there and it's just pulled back a little bit. So it's certainly backed off a little bit in that respect. One thing I think that we need to put into context are the fundamentals, and we've got a Swiss bank who have been quite a bit more dovish through this year, and so with that as a backdrop, that they've stated that they want a weaker Swiss franc, whereas the Swiss franc previously had been accelerating in strength against the dollar as the dollar was coming down here against the Swiss franc. We've now seen this year it started to come up. So have we got, with a more of a bearish central bank there, scope for more to the upside after already having had a bit of a run so far this year? So looking at the monthly chart there of the dollar Swiss, well, technically there's not too much to say at this stage because it's run up into a resistance zone here. But what I've already said is we need to look at some of the other currency pairs. So let's see if we can go to a couple of others. So if we go to the pound Swiss, we can see the pound Swiss, a similar move, but actually stronger than the dollar Swiss at the moment. So let's go and have a look at the monthly chart there, and then you'd say, it's still overall in a downwards trend. It absolutely is. Have I got any trend lines here though? As you can see, the dollar Swiss is banging its head the pound Swiss is banging its head right against this declining trend line as we speak, and then it's got this whole level of resistance above it there. One thing that I think is interesting is, like we've already said, we've actually got a more of a dovish Swiss national bank than we've got as with the UK central bank at the moment, the Bank of England. So that's there in the background. So have we got the scope for more upside there? So let's go and actually have a look at the Euro Swiss as well. Very similar pattern to that of the pound. In fact, the Euro Swiss, if I zoom out, has already just about gotten through this declining long-term trend line here. I could put another one across that high, of course, as well. And it's into this entire price zone of the history going back to the big Swiss National Bank crisis of 2015. So again, though, it's still an overall trend. Is there are we on the turn? Sometimes when you look at markets like I'm looking at here today, we have to look, they may well be in a defined trend, but is there more potential upside? If I bring up just the MACD indicator here, then we've actually got some divergences going on the monthly chart here for the euro and for the pound Swiss here as well has also been diverging down here. And in fact, if I go to another one, so for example, if I go to the Aussie Swiss, so if I come to the Australian dollar against the Swiss franc, then again a very similar sort of pattern in play. If I go to the quarterly chart, we've got divergences coming in play down there on the quarterly as well. Very choppy when you go out to the quarterly chart, but in the grand scheme of things, what we're looking for is there more scope to the upside here after this huge run to the downside? And what with those divergences in the background and a Swiss National Bank who are actively looking for, or have been actively looking for, a weaker Swiss franc, bringing it back to whether we're looking at the pound Swiss or the euro Swiss or the Aussie Swiss, or dare I say it, even the US Swiss. The only reason I say dare I say it is with the dollar Swiss, the dollar's got its own moves coming at the moment, and so I'm more inclined to look at the crosses rather than the major there pair there of the dollar Swiss. But so certainly when we're looking at some of these, oops, that's pound Aussie, not pound Swiss. There we go. When we come back, I'll take that off now. Then have we got this scope to still push higher if we come to the monthlies? We're right on a precipice here of a potential breakout. I think it's fascinating what could be coming next. We've had a bit of a pause after 4 to 5 months of upside from the beginning of this year for the pound Swiss, and it's a very similar sort of take here on the euro Swiss. Probably the pound Swiss, looking at them, has got the slightly better strength at the moment, but essentially they've got the same patterns. So take that information, take those patterns, and start making your own conclusions as to where you think the overall market may be going over the next 6 months. And then if you are a swing trader, then you can then take that information and then apply that information to your own approach, your own strategies and methods, to then say, okay, well, what needs to happen right now for you to be, if you're bullish on it, whether it's euro Swiss or coming back to the pound Swiss, if you're bullish on it, what does it need to do? Or if you're bearish on it and you think, oh no, it's going to come back in line with that longer term picture, then what does it need to do there? For me, I'm taking that information and looking at it more so on the bullish side. I don't trade this personally, these pairs, but certainly from an analysis perspective, I think they look quite interesting on the bullish side. Enjoy the rest of the next few days. I'll be back at the weekend.